When you eat healthy, you are healthy. So it's very important. Look at this. I have not gained 1 pound in 34 years. 34 years. I'm not kidding. When I was a graduate student in college, I weighed 138 pounds. Now I weigh 138 and a half pounds for 30 years.
We need to learn this from you.
Because food, diet, and exercise go hand in hand.
Get your munchies on because you're watching Taste Buds.
I always joke with people, you don't know who I am, you have problems.
Yeah.
Because I've been on television, we celebrate the 40th anniversary of Yan Can Cook Show since its beginning in 1979. So we have been on the air worldwide for 40 years.
When was the time you became a cook and how did it begin for you?
Before I was born, my father had a restaurant, a small restaurant in Guangzhou, China. I was born and grew up in Guangzhou, China. It used to be called Canton. Then I left when I was young. But even when I was a young kid, I always hang around my father's restaurant. My mother ran a grocery store, so even when I was very, very young, I'm already exposed to all of these ingredients, hoisin sauce, soybean sauce, and soy sauce, and rice wine, and all of those, and always developed a palate for Chinese food.
Okay, so you're talking about all these different sauces and whatnot. So when you started your TV show, right? How did you explain all of this to the producers there in America, like to what this sauce is and what that sauce is? I mean, it would have been like very hard for them to understand as well.
When I started in 1979, a lot of Chinese ingredient is not available. So when I get something, I have to go to Chinatown and pick it up. So on the show, I can only do 2 dishes because I have to explain every single ingredient. Right. But later on, the more I do it, the more people have to walk, and most of the supermarket start carrying all the Chinese ingredients. Then everybody can cook Chinese food. Then I can do 3 dishes and 4 dishes in one show and go faster without explaining a lot of things because people already know soy sauce, hoisin sauce, chili sauce, and sesame sauce.
Earlier, when you were talking about Chinatown not having many of these things, how do you see like Chinatown changed over these years?
The funny thing is, I was in Chinatown, San Francisco recently, and I noticed not only the Chinese locally shopping in Chinatown, they go to Chinatown to buy ingredients because it's fresh and less expensive. So Chinatown has become a mainstream shopping area for a lot of people.
Like one challenge that you were facing?
In the beginning, a lot of people don't believe a Chinese chef can make it on television, so they don't necessarily give me the opportunity to do it. But I persist. I try to do a teaching and cooking class. They said, you're not a master chef, you're not a head chef, you don't have a teaching certificate. But I insist, I persist. Amazing.
When people are attempting Chinese cooking, what's one thing you see that they're doing wrong?
I think they're too ambitious. They try to cook so many dishes all at one time. And then by doing that, you overdo it and you missed it and you don't do a good job. So try to take it one step at a time. Do something simple, easy first. Then you move on to something difficult. And don't try to be too ambitious.
One example of being too ambitious.
Give an example. One of the things is, you make sure you do all the prepping ahead of time. And then the final minute, just stir fry it. It's very simple. My slogan is, if Yan can cook, so can you.
You're really big on like food sharing,
yes.
Right? Like when you cook, that's the thing that you do. Why is that so?
It is no fun to cook for yourself, but it is a lot of fun when you cook and you'll be able to share. I remember when I was a young child in China, my mother would cook something and would bring it to my neighbor downstairs, upstairs, and share with our neighbors, and vice versa. And the neighbor, when they have something nice, and they'll come bring it to us to share. And food is about sharing. It's about communal sharing.
What's your diet like?
Basically, I have a vegetable diet. I eat a lot of vegetable.
Go vegetarians! Yeah. I just turned vegetarian.
But at the same time, I don't have to worry about forcing myself to go on a diet. Just eat whatever I love, but don't overdo it. Chinese philosophy is based on yin and yang. Okay. Contrasting but in harmony.
One last question. So you're here in Hong Kong. I know you've been here for quite some time. You studied here, but where's actually home for you? Where do you feel at heart?
I spent quite a few years in Hong Kong. I was trained in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is always my second home. When I come back, I feel like homecoming. But I live in San Francisco, and I travel all over the world.
And you're not stopping anytime soon.
I will not stop. I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm passionate about what I'm doing. Why should I stop? I will continue to do it until I'm 168 years old.
You hear that? 160 years old.
Math.
Can you say that with me? If Yang can cook, so can you.
My slogan is always, if Yang can cook, so can you.